Hello from the Workers' Stadium in Beijing, and with the start of the European Championship only 16 days away now, England's first international on Chinese soil will serve as their penultimate warm-up game before Euro 96 begins. England coach Terry Venables is more than relaxed about his squad's over-lengthy patrol of the Great Wall of China yesterday. Team spirit and match fitness for some of his players is what he wants from this two-game tour to the Far East. And Venables has been stressing he feels an enthusiastic Chinese side will give England the test they need. Over 60,000 of Beijing's 11 million population will watch the match, and they'll be joined by our commentary team, Trevor Brooking and Clive Tilsley.
Well, whatever the remaining reservations about the tour, this has the air and the atmosphere of a very special occasion. It's a dangerous assignment for England. Terry Venables insists this could be as tough a game as his team will face all summer. But he's named a young team for it, average age just 24. The Neville brothers, the two youngest players there. Tony Adams' performance in defence may be of greatest significance after his long layoff. But with D-Day close, it's a particularly important game for players like Jamie Redknapp and Nick Barmby, who are still not certain of making the final 22.
Well, first of all, I think congratulations to the Neville family on Philip and Gary's selection, but I think otherwise it's an important night for individuals, isn't it? Fitness-wise, Adams, Shearer, Anderton, and then I suppose from a point of view of trying to recapture their best form, Jamie Redknapp and Nick Barmby. I think formation as well, suppose keep an eye on Gareth Southgate. Will he play just in front of that back three, or will he play alongside Tony Adams?
With a population of well over 1 billion, China has the potential to be good at whatever it chooses. Professional football has been established here for more than 3 years now. This team narrowly lost to the Italian club Lazio last week, but last October, Colombia were beaten in an international match here.
Well, with this fanatical following, there's going to be no shortage of desire and passion from the home team. That's just my slight concern. Sometimes their challenges can be a bit overzealous and reckless, and that's when, of course, England could pick up an injury, and that's the last thing they want in this particular fixture.
An Italian referee, Pierluigi Collina, has been flown in. The local time is 7:45. The local climate, cloudy and clammy. The local pitch, a bit better than England anticipated, which isn't necessarily saying a lot. It's firm and dry. It's pretty flat, but it's rather crusty on top. This is Ma, and there's a sharpness about the technique of the Chinese, which was evident in their training. Paul Gascoigne's technique to the fore early on, linking with McManaman. This is Sia. Don't too much of that to Phil Neville, who, quite apart from making some history alongside his brother, is the first teenager to be capped for England since John Barnes 13 years ago. Here to Howe. Gao. Way by Gary Neville. Claimed by Alan Shearer. And here's Phil Neville. And England have principally started with a back four.
Yes, I think on occasions the Chinese have had three men further forward. So Gareth Southgate initially going alongside Tony Adams and almost going back to the old 4-2 system. And Paul Gascoigne is playing more left of the centre of midfield, and Jamie Redknapp going to play more the right side.
Shearer into the path of Anderton. Just stolen from him in the nick of time by Xu. And now Jiang. Barmby won it back. Redknapp to Gascoigne. On by Anderton, on by Shearer. This is Paul Gascoigne for England. Beaten away by the Chinese goalkeeper, Oh. It was a really good chance for Gascoigne to score his first goal under Terry Venables' stewardship of the national side. Here he is again. Steve McManaman. Phil Neville. McManaman taking on a little bit too much.
It's certainly an excellent chance at the other end. Good play, good movement. Paul Gascoigne timing his run, receiving it from Alan Shearer. And in the end, he seemed to get caught in two minds as to whether to lob the keeper or to go on. And just during that hesitation, didn't do either. And it was a fairly comfortable save.
Oh, taking a chance with Shearer. Fan finding a way. Not the best of passes for Howe. England looking quite sharp and businesslike in the opening stages. Adams fighting Anderson, who finds a little bit of skill to bypass Seah. England have settled well in this rather intimidating atmosphere. Shearer's won a free kick. McManaman. Anderson. Redknapp. Gascoigne. Now Adams. Neville is forward ahead of him. Phil Neville, that is. Instead it's Jamie Redknapp. Now Darren Anderson. Gareth Southgate stepping forward. It's a good run too, and that is what he's capable of doing. Gives an extra dimension to England in those circumstances.
Well, this is the adaptable system Terry Venables is trying to be emphasised there, because of course Gareth Southgate quite comfortable coming into that midfield area. You can see the difficulty on occasions where he tried to run with the ball, bouncing up nastily, couldn't quite keep it down.
But England's passing has been quite measured on this much debated surface. Just about Tim Plough's first involvement. This is Jiang. Howe unable to bring the ball under control. Number 5, the skipper, is Xu. And this is the tallest player in the team, Fan. And there are 4 6-footers in this Chinese lineup, which will shatter a few myths. And a good ball, too, to Howe. Away from Philip Neville. Hung up at the far post, and some good defending by Gary Neville. Li Bing was the player who came in. And it's a very strong and athletic Chinese lineup. Gary Neville at least put him under pressure. And in fact conceded the corner and suffered some pain in the process.
Certainly a vital header, wasn't it, at the far post. 1 against 1. Good cross right into the corner. And he went very deep beyond Tim Plough's. Gary Neville had to get there to stop the free header from Li Bing. It's number 6 quite dangerous. He's coming through the middle. Number 10 and 11 play up front, and Li Bing coming quite late. And they've got to keep an eye on him.
Gary Neville receiving some treatment just off the field from Dave Butler as this Chinese corner comes in and leaves the England penalty area fairly swiftly via the right boot of Alan Shearer. Gary Neville is back on the field. This is Jiang. Li Bing, forced out of it by Gareth Southgate. McManaman. Barmby. Just seemed to be caught there by Fan, but the referee was well placed. Ma. Well seen by Adams.
Some good sharp tackles going in from the back foot. Gareth Southgate in particular looked very impressive. Tony Adams doing a lot of talking, using his experience. Interesting, Hugo Egiog has been warming up just in case Gary Neville not quite right. I'm sure he would like his first cap, but I'm sure bang on the head won't stop Gary Neville from continuing.
That is the Chinese coach, Chi Wusheng. Here is Gascoigne. Barmby. McManaman. Redknapp. He just tried to let that run. Seized upon by Li Bing. Howe. Roughed up a little bit by Gary Neville. Ma. Jiang. Too high for Sia. Neville not frightened to make himself heard on his international debut. It's a good thing. Defending to do here. Southgate trying to catch up with Gao. Way with a cross. Li Bing is there. Well won by Gary Neville. He's giving away an inch or two to the big number 6. Gascoigne. McManaman. Gascoigne. Now Gary Neville. Barmby underneath it. And still. And McManaman. And Barmby. Anderson. Down he goes. Referee had a great view. Barmby with a volley. Didn't get hold of it. Came to him unexpectedly. And he hit across the ball and sliced it somewhat. Good build-up play again. Nicky Barmby just getting clear on the left initially, and then the final shot as it ricocheted back to him, not quite on target. England can use any 5 of 7 nominated substitutes this evening. Anderson penalised for handball. Shu. Howe. Shu. Shot from Howe deflected. Gascoigne. On by Anderson. Gascoigne has run a free kick. Li Bing was the guilty party. And I think Gascoigne wants a little bit of this for himself. Adams has walked forward. At the moment, Adams is unmarked. We're midway through the first half. Redknapp to Anderton, and now Gascoigne. Adams had pulled wide. The ball was cleared by Shu. Here is Tony Adams. Sia. Li Bing making the run from deep again. Adams back on defensive patrol. Shu. Li Bing. Anderson helping out. Zhang caught in possession by Gascoigne. McManaman to his left, Barmby's up. This is Barmby! Good effort on the turn by Nick Barmby. And a smart save by Aubameyang. Gascoigne beautifully weighted pass. And Barmby got hold of it.
There's all the invention again being done by Paul Gascoigne. He won the ball just near the halfway line. Broken a lovely little weighted through ball, wasn't it?
Adams and Southgate forward. Adams on the near post. He's towards Shearer. But he was under pressure and couldn't quite direct the header as he wished. Li Bing. Ma. Through towards Howe. Phil Neville went back with him. And just for a moment, well, the free kick has actually been given on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, I think the referee has succumbed there to the reaction of the crowd, because either that's a penalty or it's nothing at all, because it's later on that he goes down. I think by then he's in the penalty area. For me, it wasn't a foul at all.
I think the South Korean linesman on the near side also offered him some advice. He flagged to suggest a free kick, but didn't put his flag across his chest to suggest a penalty. But just for a moment, Howe got on the dangerous side of Phil Neville. And the danger is a very real one now for Tim Flowers. It's number 4, Sam! Hit with immense power by the huge central defender, who, strangely enough, is the centre forward for his club side. And was the leading scorer in Chinese football last season. Well struck.
Well, I think justice was done there personally. I think it was either a penalty or nothing, and it should have been nothing, but he went for the top option and gave a free kick on the edge of the penalty area.
Redknapp. England just need to settle things again. They've had things pretty much their own way so far. A little reminder from that free kick. Gascoigne. McManaman tried to let it run for Redknapp. Ma. Caught in possession by Gary Neville. McManaman to Barmby. Gascoigne is square of him. Here's Gascoigne. Well seen though. Cleared by Fan. Anderton to Gary Neville. Offside.
Certainly England's better chances have come when people running from deep, particularly Paul Gascoigne. Steve McManaman now and again drifting inside. Nick Barmby, of course, dropping deep in that sort of Teddy Sheringham role. And the Chinese not quite being able to pick up everyone.
Anderson. Slipped through towards Nick Barmby. Oh, off the post, and this time it's in. England take the lead, and it's Nick Barmby's first international goal.
Well, this was the run, wasn't it? Anderson coming inside again. Nicky Barmby coming from that slightly deeper position. He's got a yard away from his marker. Bit unlucky with the first one, but keeps his head and tucks in the second one with his left foot.
Terry Venables was saying yesterday that Barmby has had a hard season. Particularly the second half of the season has been tough for Middlesbrough. But after a long conversation with Brian Robson, of course, his club manager, Venables believes that Barmby is coming right back into full fitness and form. Looks sharp in training. He's got his chance tonight. He's given England the lead. That's the half-time whistle. And pretty assured performance from England on the whole. Against reasonable opponents who got better as the half went on. Nick Barmby with the solitary goal. And certainly plenty for England to build on in the second half of this momentous match in Beijing. China's ranking in Asian football is number 3 behind Japan and Saudi Arabia. Well, they had a major disappointment in March when South Korea beat them to a place in the Olympic finals this summer. England now just over 2 weeks away from their big summer finals. Wei, the Chinese right back. Here's Anderson. And Redknapp. England resuming with their starting 11, although undoubtedly substitutes will play a part in the latter stages of this evening's proceedings. The Chinese have actually made a couple of changes during the break. Phil Neville. Darren Anderson. Gascoigne. Through towards McManaman. Wouldn't quite run for Barmby. Number 14 is Lee Ming, who came on at half-time. Darren Anderson.
Not surprisingly, no change in the England formation. Darren Anderson there, of course, working towards match fitness. Actually, Steve Stone had a long warm-up during the interval, so it looked as if he would come on early into the second half, although at the moment the starting 10 out on the field unchanged.
But as you will have noticed, Trevor, Sia and Li Bing have been replaced by Li Ming and Peng Wei-Guo.
It was on the tip of my tongue, but I left it to you, Clive.
And here is Peng. A bit like Dennis Wise, actually. Li Ming is the intended recipient of the pass. Gareth Southgate sees to it that he doesn't get it. Free kick goes Nick Barmby's way. Nice to see things generally going Nick Barmby's way again. He did have a foot injury, which he soldiered on with for a spell at Middlesbrough earlier in the year. Barmby's cross. Shearer couldn't quite control the header from McManaman. And here's Pong. Out. Away. 18 is Mark. Gao. The cross is too long. Nice to see both Anderton and McManaman drifting in from the flanks, getting involved. Plenty of fluidity and flexibility about the England lineup. Anderton to McManaman. Played quite a bit of under-21 international football together. Anderton.
Not sure that was a shot. I think it was an intended cross for Alan Shearer. But as you say, Barmby's been working hard in that sort of role just behind Alan Shearer, linking up play well and put himself very much back into contention. Jamie Redknapp, I thought, also grew in confidence as the half went on.
Gao Zhongxun. Hao. Fan. The young players, the two Neville brothers, read the game so well. There are young players throughout this England side. Tony Adams at 29 is the old man today. Shearer. Anderton. Corner kick. Terry Venables did remark that he wouldn't be at all surprised if quite a few of his squad are still around in the year 2002 when the World Cup finals come to this part of the world. Adams is on the near post waiting. Anderton delivers towards Adams. Got a nudge from Fan. And here on the break comes Lee Ming. Again, good positioning by Phil Neville.
Not only was it good positioning, but his header as well was a cushioned header to set up play. And here he is.
Barmby. Fan came in with a challenge. And trying to get the verdict. No kick.
Hugo Egiog and Peter Beardsley join Steve Stone running up and down the track in front of us. So I'm sure the substitutes, with the humidity here in China, will definitely see some introductions for England in the second half.
Fan. Ma. Gao Zhongxun. Fan was under pressure. And as Trevor Brooking has remarked this evening, under pressure, China do give up possession quite easily. Gascoigne. Barmby onside, scored again. Set up by Paul Gascoigne. Nick Barmby within 8 minutes of the restart has doubled England's money.
It was a great pass by Paul Gascoigne. Good running by Nick Barmby, kept onside and went between three defenders, and look at that finish, just lifting it over the goalkeeper. Superb finish.
He actually went for the last 4 months of the season without scoring for Middlesbrough and had chances in that time and wasn't finishing with this kind of confidence. But it's all come streaming back now for Nick Barmby at just the right time from an international point of view. But it does help when you've got Paul Gascoigne prompting like that.
I mean, the easy option for Paul Gascoigne was to play it out wide to Steve McManaman. But the pass that would really hurt the opposition, of course, was the one through the middle, and Barmby timed his run well and was supplied superbly.
Looking now for McManaman. It'll come for Shearer, will it? No, Wei Chun sees through it, it doesn't. There is now a chance that this could open up for England. They have the real breathing space Wei Chun managed to smuggle that away with Shearer waiting. McManaman who had the initial chance. Goalkeeper couldn't hold on. But Shearer, who's been waiting for a spell now, didn't quite have the ball run for him. Redknapp. Gascoigne losing his footing. England have been rarely stretched to the back. McManaman. Shearer! It was upon him before he knew it. Gascoigne's there. Goal kick.
Good build-up play. McManaman popping up on the right-hand side. There's a cross that's just too high for Alan Shearer. He just needs that little break, doesn't he, to get the opening and get that vital goal for him.
The bad news for Alan Shearer is that Robbie Fowler is now warming up. But I'm sure that Shearer has done enough here to prove his fitness, which was really the only question mark over his participation in the championship. Kong in towards Li Ming, but overhit.
I think it's been a good, sharp performance by England. All right, people will look at China and say, well, they weren't particularly strong, but I think Terry Venables will be delighted. His side have looked sharp in the tackle. They've put them under pressure, gained possession and build up, play well, and of course taken 2 goals. And a lot of players are looking full of confidence, and it makes his final selection that much more difficult, doesn't it?
Actually, China's next assignment is a 3-day trip to Holland early next week, where they'll test out the Dutch European Championship credentials, and that will probably put this result into more perspective. Gao Zhongxun. Ma. Fan. Hao. Now to turn. A running Tony Adams. And this is Hao. Just stole the march on Adams momentarily, but didn't have the steadiness or confidence to deliver the finish to match. Yeah, it's a little step over, took him away from Tony Adams. He's got a yard or 2 here, hasn't he? And then just sort of shinned it, really, and didn't test Tim Flowers as he should have done. But first time he's really got behind the English defence. Lovely bounce. The first England substitution of the evening is going to be in goal. Darren Anderson. Into the pass of Paul Gascoigne. Now it's a flagger against Barmby. Referee has given the goal. And it's Paul Gascoigne, first for Terry Venables. His first in international football for over 2.5 years. And stabbed in with all the cheek and the skill, which embroidered Paul Gascoigne's game at his best. Yeah, his linesman's flag goes up there, as you can see, in the offside position, Nick Barmby, but quite agree, didn't have any effect on that ball going into the back of the net. Good advantage play, well done the referee. Good early look as well, wasn't it? Backheel by Anderson, and he sees the goalkeeper a bit out of position, just passes it into the corner. Gascoigne, who says that he's at his fittest since before the 1990 World Cup finals. Now joined on the field by Ian Walker, who had 25 minutes against Hungary for his international debut last Saturday, and now takes over from Tim Flowers with about the same time to go in this game. A bit of assistance being offered to the referee too. Left in the end for Gao Zhongxun to try his luck. A double England substitution coming in attack with Alan Shearer and Nick Barmby, the scorer of the first two England goals, being replaced by Peter Beardsley, who's only had 25 minutes of international football this season. And Robbie Fowler has only had just over 100 minutes of international football in his life. Beardsley playing for the first time since the Portugal game in December, and Fowler following his full debut against Croatia recently.
I think Alan Shearer worked very hard, a good movement along the line. All right, he hasn't actually had a clear shooting opportunity. I wouldn't worry too much about the fact he hasn't got on the score sheet yet. His progress on the fitness side is going well. Nick Barmby, of course, rediscovered his form, took both his goals exceptionally well, and not bad when you can bring Peter Beardsley and Robbie Fowler on just to have a little run out.
Well, the evening's not quite over for Shearer, still getting some instruction from his manager. McManaman on by Phil Neville. McManaman has freed across to Beardsley. Came to him at an awkward height, and he couldn't quite decide which part of his leg to get on the ball.
Good interplay, wasn't it, between Philip Neville and Steve McManaman? Was it a volley? Was it a header? In the end, it was a fly all the way over the crossbar.
Beardsley, Fowler. Oh! Well, you almost expect a goal when he gets that kind of sight.
He seems to do everything right. It's bobbling around. Have to emphasise how difficult it is just to set it up properly. Just missed the post.
Gao Jongshun. Fan. Lee Hong-jun. One hint that Terry Venables did give today is that it's not out of the question that Shearer, Ferdinand and Fowler will figure in that final 22. Here's Fowler feeding Stone. You can generally assume that he can only pick two of the three, but that's not the case. Stone in towards Anderson with a flashing shot. Would have rounded off the evening nicely.
Good little late flurry. Was a good cross that by Steve Stone, just behind Anderson. Couldn't quite then divert it onto the goal, but again Anderson coming in from that left hand side and getting a yard or two of space.
He's only played four. This is his fifth full game since his 7-month layoff. He scored 4 goals. Redknapp, nice run. Fowler. The game certainly finishing at the same fever pitch on the terraces, but England's control has been confident for some time now.
They're a pretty noisy lot, aren't they? I wouldn't like to see them if China went 1 or 2 up.
Never really been a likelihood this evening. England have had a measure of control from the first whistle. Beardsley on towards Stone. Now, can they wrap it up with another goal? No, linesman's flagging. Stone handled the ball. Fong. Ekiok calmly done. And there has been a calmness and a self-confidence about England throughout what, on paper certainly, was a tricky assignment. It's their second 3-0 win in the space of a week. And in the run-up to the big championship, those are impressive figures, impressive performances all around the field. Nick Barmby with 2 and Paul Gascoigne with 1, the goal scorers. But Terry Venables has come for the evening a lot wiser about the potential and capabilities of his squad. And with another good victory registered, their record for the season now reads played 8, won 4, drawn 4. They won by 3 goals to 0 this evening.
Terry, with Euro 96 approaching, what does that performance do for you in terms of preparation?
Well, it continues us getting good results, and all the time you get good results, it brings the confidence up. We've had 1 or 2 players now that have come in today and done equally as well as the others have done. So the competition's very hard, very tough, and that's what we aim for, and that's what we got.
We had 8 young kids there, could have played for the under-21s, and I think they showed great determination. They didn't look under any pressure. The problem, obviously, just for playing for the national team. I thought they've done very, very well.
What did Nick Barmby do tonight that particularly impressed you?
Well, his positional play was first class. Nicky has looked very sharp when he comes to us in the training. He's had a very hard season. Brian Robson was saying it. He's played sometimes for him because they've had injuries. He's played with injuries. He's really matured and through a tough season has come out with flying colours.
And that's it, a convincing win for England. The party leave for Hong Kong tomorrow. On Sunday, they play a Hong Kong Invitation 11. You can see the highlights during Sunday Grandstand. And then there's a special Match of the Day programme at 11:40. From Beijing, where England have had a great victory, good night to you.